Kakalosh Boker Or, Masechet Zevachim, Daf Yomi, Daf Nunchet, Mudale 58A1. We're starting a new chapter, Perek Shishi, Anu Mishnah, Nu Perek, everything new. Kodshe Kadashim Sheshachtan Berosh Amizbeach. We're now talking about Kodshe Kadashim. Remember, we spoke about the difference between Kadashim Kalim, Kodshe Kadashim. Now we have Kodshe Kadashim Sheshachtan Berosh Amizbeach, that you slaughtered it at the beginning of the Mizbeach. Rabbi Yosef Omer, Rabbi Yosef comes and he says, Ki'ilu Nishchatu Batzafon. It's Ki'ilu, he was slaughtered in the north of the Azara. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda says, Mechetzi HaMizbeach V'Ladarom Kedarom. From half of the Mizbeach to the south is considered the south, right? And he says, Umichetzi Mizbeach Latzafon Ketzafon. And from the half of the Mizbeach to the north is going to be considered the north. Okay? So basically what's happening is that here we're learning, okay, that even though Kodshe Kodashim, they need Shechita, right? Which is going to be on the Chelek, which is the Tzafon, because all Kodshe Kodashim, everything was always the Tzafon. You remember Shechita B'Tzafon, Shechita B'Tzafon, Shechita B'Tzafon. Where did they learn that? What was the Mekordin? From which Korban do we learn that Kodshe Kodashim has to be in the north? Olah, Chazak Baruch, doctor. Right? But by the Olah, it says Mefurash Safona Lifnei Hashem. And from there we learned the Chatat and the Hasham from the Olah. So therefore, it's all the basis comes from the Olah, the burnt offering, that it has to be in the north. Okay, says the Gemara. Amar Rav Asi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Says Rav Asi in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Omer ya Rabbi Yosef. Right? So Rabbi Yosef used to say, Kule Mizbeach B'Tzafon Kai. The entire Mizbeach is in the north. My ki'ilu, what does it mean now? It's ki'ilu, right? So he says, Ma'u the I would have thought to say, Ba'ina, that we need al yerech hamizbeach. Okay, veleka, and you don't have it, because al yerech is mashma on the northern part of the mizbeach, which is basically the floor of the azara in the north, which that's called the northern part. Kamashmalan comes teach you to be Yoseh that it's going to be kosher as if it's going to be done in the tzvona azara by the mizbeach. Amale Rabbi Yuzera Ravasi. He says Rabbi Yuzera to Ravasi Elameata. So now we're going to ask the following question. Let Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, according to Shitat Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, Chanami. So to hear the Chetzio Batzavon v'Chetzio Badarom. Are you going to tell me half of it is in the north and half of it is in the south? Meaning, I don't remember. I don't know if you have. There was a. Okay, I'll show it to you in a few minutes. There was a whole machloket, and that's what we're getting into here. There's a huge machloket. Where exactly was the mizbeach? Is the mizbeach the entire thing in the south? Is the mizbeach half? Is the entire mizbeach in the north, and just a ramp is going to be in the south? So therefore, v'chitema. Now, if you're going to tell me achenami, right, that it's true. Veha atu damarta, but you said in the name of Yochanan, modeh Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef is going to be right. Rabbi Yehuda is going to be modeh. Sheim shechatan kenegdan bakarka. That if you came and you slaughtered the kodshe kodashim on the floor, right, which is going to be underneath the place of the mizbeach, it's going to be what? Psula. Why? Because the karka, which is underneath it, right, even if it's going to be underneath the part which is the northern part, it's still considered the south, not the north. So according to him, it's coming out that the entire mizbeach is in the south. The entire mizbeach is in the south. Okay? So he comes and he says, Amar le, he comes and he tells him, right, Hachi kama Rabbi Yochanan. This is what Rabbi Yochanan was actually saying. He says like this. He says, Shnehem mikra echad darshu. Right, they're going to be doresh from, right, both of them are being doresh from the same pasuk. It says, V'zavachta alav et olotecha ve'et shelamecha. You're going to do zevicha, you're going to slaughter on it the olah and the shlamim. Okay? So whether it's called talking about kodshe kodashim or kodashim kalim. Rabbi Yosef Savar, Rabbi Yosef holds, right, kulo, right, le'olah. What does that mean? Everything that we're talking about now is talking about the olah. The kulo, the shlamim, right? The entire thing is going to be kosher for the shlamim, meaning the entire mizbeach is going to be kosher to slaughter the olah, and the entire mizbeach is going to be kosher to slaughter the shlamim. Now the shlamim, where can you do the shlamim? Shechitatan. Which one? The shlamim offering. What do you guys say in the morning? Shlamim kadashim kalim, shechitatan, bechol makom, ba'azara. Bechol makom. Yeah, it could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be the north. Right? You guys say it every single morning. I see how everyone says it. Yeah, so he says over here, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Savar. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda holds, Chetzio leolah, vechetzio, yeah, vechetzio l'shlamim. What does that mean? Chetzio is going to be leola, and only chetzio l'shlamim, which means that which Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says, according to Shitat Rabbi Yosef, that the mizbeach, the entire thing is in the tzafon. He's not learning from there that he's going to be koshering the entire thing over there. It all depends when you're doing it. So it comes out that the machloket is right. Um, Not where exactly is the mizbeach, but how are you doresh the pasuk exactly? Okay. The Isal Kadaita was if you're going to tell me right now, Kulo Leola Kasher, that the entire thing is going to be kosher for the Ola. Hashta Kulo Leola Kasher, Kulo Lishlamim Baye. If it's kosher for the Ola, Kavachomen, it's going to be kosher for the Shlamim. Because remember, the Shlamim you could do anywhere. So obviously, if it's going to be kosher for the Ola, there's no questions that it's going to be kosher for the Shlamim. Yes. Right? The Idach and the other Tana, which is Rabbi Yosef, Itzich, he still needs it. I would have thought to say, Olahu Tedachik Lemakom, because it's only going to be the Olah that Ena Nishchet Elele Batzafon. And therefore the Torah was Kilu telling you where can you do it. So we're giving you an extra space. But the Shlamim, the Ludalach, you could do it anywhere. Emalo, I would say that you can't do it over there. Right? So he says, Kamashmalan comes to teach you that really, Be'emen, you could do the Shechita even on the Mizbeach. Remember that, just to zoom out, if you guys remember, the Shechita was usually never done on the Mizbeach. The Shechita was always done to the north of the Mizbeach. The north of the Mizbeach, you had rings and tables. The rings were stuck in the ground, right? You remember, and that's why when they came to the one of Bilga, right? That was the head of the Kohanim, right? When they weren't behaving, right? So what did they do? They went and they put the ring, they buried it into the ground. So now if you can't use that ring, it's a problem. But the concept of the ring is that they used to put the head of the animal underneath the ring, and when the head of the animal is underneath the ring, it couldn't move because it's stuck basically. And then they used to come and they used to do the shechita right then and there. But that was always towards the north. And then they had marble tables, right, which were there also in the north. Okay, fine. Gufa. Yeah, Gufa Amar Ravasi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Says Ravasi in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. You want a Gemara? Yeah, you have over there Gemarot.
Sir.
Yeah. Modi Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. Sheim shechatan kenegdam b'karka pesulot. That if right now they did a shechita opposite it in the karka, it's going to be pasul. Okay, which means if they did it right now by this Nun Chet Amud Aleph 58a, we're towards the bottom of the page. Okay, he says if you did the shechita right on by the Kodesh Kodashim on the floor though, it's going to be pasul. So Amal Revacha Medifti Lervina, my connect. What does it mean that you did it on the floor? So Elam, if you're going to tell me that you did it by the Amayosod, right? He comes and he says, right, or the Amasovev, he says, Hai Gufa Mizbechu, that's the Mizbech itself. Meaning, what does it mean that you did it on the floor? If you did it by the Amma Yesod, that's the Mizbeach. The Amma Yesod, remember, was the Amma, which was on the bottom of the Mizbeach, the foundation. You remember it was the bottom, right? The green, exactly. Yeah, if you're going to tell me it's the Amma Sovev, the Amma Sovev was on top of the red line in the middle, right? You had an Amma. And that Amma, right, was going around, right? So he comes and he says, if you're going to tell me right now, right, it's going to be the Ma Yisod or Ma Sovev, that in itself is a Mizbeach, right? So Ve'odem, furthermore, what does it mean Kenegdan Bakarka? So he comes and he says, Vechitem, and if you're going to tell me David Mechilot, which means that they made Minarot HaKotel. They made tunnels, right? Bakarka. V'shachit when they did the shchita. V'chi agavna miyav mizbeach. That's a mizbeach. There's no mizbeach. ועתיים המזבח אדמה תעשה לי, שיהיה מחובר מהאדמה, שלא יבנו על גבי מחילות ולא על גבי קיפין. You can't start making it on different tunnels and different things. It has to be ממש on the floor. מזבח אדמה תעשה לי. So he says, La tzricha, what are we talking about? The batzre batsure. He comes and he says that they made the mizbeach smaller than what they should have. And therefore, they're still going to be part of the floor, which technically should have been part of the mizbeach. So even though it's going to be al yerech mizbeach, which is a karka beside it, the entire mizbeach is in the south, according to the shita. Okay, but basically they made the mizbeach a little bit smaller than what it is. So Amar Bizera says Bizera, Efshar ita leha te Rabbi Yochanan velatanina la b'matnitin. He says, can it be that this bemet is correct, and there's no hint in Shisha Sidre Mishnah of such a thing? What does that mean? Right, this entire concept that according to Rabbi Yosef, the entire mizbeach is in Tzafon. It's not written anywhere in Mishnayot. It's only Gemara that we have such a machloket. So nafak dak ve'ashkach. Right? He went out, he looked into it, right? And he found it. The Tanam we learned in the Mishnah Tamid. Bereru misham atzet te'ena yafim. They used to take from the lishkat ha'etzim the best pieces of woods, right? Atzet te'ena yafim, very nice. Lesader ma'aracha shniya shel ketoret, in order to prepare the ma'aracha shniya of the ketoret, keneged keren ma'aravi dromit, which was in the southwest of the mizbeach, right? Mashuch mina keren klapet safon arba'amot. So then they used to come and they used to distance it from the keren, right, 4 amot. And then they used to put be'omed 15 gechalim. They used to put a whole bunch of gechalim there. ובשבת בעומד 18 גחלים, ששם היו נותנים 2 בזיחי לבונה של לחם הפנים. They used to put the 2 לבונה, right? They used to put the 2 בזיחים of לבונה, which is the 2 like, how do you gonna call them? Like spoons of לבונה, right? לבונה is a frankincense of the לחם הפנים. Okay? ומאי סימנה. So what's a siman? What's a klal that you know about this manacha shniya v'aktoret, right? Of all these things. So he says here, the biosehi, it's a bioseh. Right? I think we had a picture at the beginning. No, we don't have it. When you take the picture of the Mizbeach, second page? No, I don't have it. Well, that's one machloka, but that's not the one I'm looking for now. On the Gaga Mizbeach, I don't know if you ever saw the pictures. There's the center, and then there's different parts also. And that's where they used to offer certain sacrifices. Okay? So if you would take a picture, we actually had it, I think, in the check Dr. the Chumash at the back. You remember with the pictures? Maybe it's there. You had on the Mizbeach. No, it doesn't have it. I for sure saw the picture somewhere. Basically, on the Mizbeach, you had different parts. It wasn't just like one burning place in the center, right? So I'm sure we saw the picture somewhere. I just don't remember now where. Yeah, with different parts of the Mizbeach. So if you, 1 second. So what was the siman that we just said? Rabbi Yosei, the Tanya, as we learned in a Braita, Nun Chet Amud Bet, 58b, Noach. Yeah, it's very Noach for us. Rabbi Yosei Omer. Rabbi Yosei says, Ze siman, kol anital mibifnim, linaten mibachutz. Anything which is going to be taken on the inside of the echal, in order to put it on the outside of Mizbeach HaChitzon, eno noten la samuch, right? It has to be on the part of the Mizbeach HaChitzon, which is going to be samuch letzad pnim. She'en lifnim, right? Which there's nothing more inside from it, right? Which is going to be mamash mula petach, right? Of the echal. V'chol anital mibachutz, and anything which is going to be on the Mizbeach HaChitzon, which is going to be placed on the inside of the echal, eno nital, right? Ela b'samuch, she'en lifnim, that is not going to be more inside. So the Gemara is going to say, what are we talking about exactly? Kol anital bifnim, what does it mean now? You're taking it on the inside to put on the outside. Yeah? Yes, that's what we just said, the entire thing of the tzafon. Okay.
שלחתי כבר לקבוצה, כי אתה לא בקבוצה.
Yeah, he sent it.
אני לא האדמיניסטרטור, זה הרב שאני, אם לא...
Kol anital, send to join. Your friend beside you, you already joined. He requested it and I added him. Yeah? So he says, Kol anital bifnim ninaten mibachutz. Manihu. What is that case exactly? He says, Ilema shiraim. If you're going to tell me the shiraim, which means that we're talking about sheirei adam of the chatot pnimiot, right? Which again, it's going to be put on the inside. Remember that there was chataot chitzoniot and chataot pnimiot. Certain chataot had to be done on the inner mizbeach, and certain chataot were done on the outer mizbeach. That's why the outer mizbeach is called mizbach haolah. It's not called mizbach chatat. It's called mizbach haolah. And the inner one also is not called mizbach chatat because there's certain chatat which are on the outside, so it's called mizbach ketoret, right? That means there's different names. So he says you've got chatat pnimiot, which the daman is nital mizbach hazahav, right? Shenitalim bifnim betoch haechal, and you have to throw out the bachutz al yisod mizbech hachitzon, and that's what Rabbi Yosef is talking about. The shfichatam should be in the yisod al pi klal kol anital mibifnim linatem mibachutz. You have to do a mula petach, right? Okay. So behed yaktiv behu, it's written mefurash, right? He comes and he says, right? El yisod mizbach haolah shepetach ol moed, right? What does that mean? The yisod mizbach haolah, which is going to be the entrance of petach ol moed. The two, and furthermore, kol anital bachutz linaten bifnim. Manihu, what are we talking about exactly? Ilema, if you're going to tell me now, gechalim shel Yom Kippurim, we're talking about the gechalim of the Yom Kippurim. Behed yaktiv behu, it's already written mefurash. V'lakach melo machta gach le'esh. And it says there milifnei Hashem. So if it says milifnei Hashem, it has to be opposite the entrance of the echal. So now one more time, everybody, you have the next picture there that that Ronen sent to the chat, which is basically that you have the entrance of the echal. Obviously, we're talking about that it has to be lifnei Hashem is opposite the entrance of the echal. Mul apetach shel echal, right? Opposite. Now the question is, where is the mizbeach then? Right? So if you're going to tell me now, depends where the mizbeach is going to be, that if right now this is the entrance of the echal, and here you've got the line, right, going straight, because that's mul apetach shel echal. So if you're going to tell me that the shiraim is going to be spilled on the yisod of mizbeach, and then it's going to be there, so then it's perfect. But it depends where the mizbeach was. You understand? Depends where the mizbeach is. The two, and furthermore, kol anital bechutz inatem bifnim. Right? My new, if you're going to tell me gechalim, well, we just said this. Gechalim shel Yom Kippurim, it's written mefurash. אלא כל הניתן מבפנים ניתן בחוץ, זה שני בזיחי לבונה של לחם הפנים. So Rabbi Yosef is coming and he's teaching you, דגמרי משחירתם, yeah, that דגמרי משיריים, they're learning it, right, from the שיריים, from שירי אדם. That means we're learning from the שירי אדם of the חטאות פנימיות, that just like the שירי חטאות הפנימיות are going to be taken, right? And they're going to be spilled on the outer mizbeach, right? By the yesod, kenege petach haoel, right? Kenege petach haechal. So he says, right, that so to the shne bezichei levona is the same thing. Hanital bachutz yinetem bifnim, gechalim dechol yom v'yom, those are the gechalim. The gamran mi gechalim shel Yom Kippurim is that they learn from the Yom Kippurim, which means every single time they used to take from Boker Erev in the Erev, from the Manacha Shniya of the Ketoret to Mizbeach HaChitzon, and they used to put it on Mizbeach HaPnimi, in order to do the ketoret there, shachrit and arvit. Meaning like this, the inner mizbeach did not have a fire there. The esh tamid was always where? On the outer mizbeach. And the marachot were on the outer mizbeach. So if they used to take coals from the outer mizbeach every single day, and they used to bring it to the mizbeach hapnimi in order to come and to do the ketoret. How many times a day did they do the ketoret? Yeah, baboker and ba'erev. Right, they used to do the morning and the night time. Okay. Umayka Savar. So for what is Rabbi Yosef holding? Ika Savar, if he's going to hold Kula Mizbeach Badarom Kaida, the entire thing is in the Darom. Esim Vesheva, and there's going to be 20, right? He says over here 27 Amot, right? Which is going to be Klapet Safon by Lemete, you have to put it, right? So therefore it's coming, right? In order, that means for it to be opposite the entrance of the Echal, because the petach of the Echal is in the middle of the Azara. So if it's going to be 14 amot, it comes out that 5 amot are going to be in the south. Now, if the entire mizbeach is in the darom, so you could only do it then in the first 5 amot of the mizbeach. Meaning, one more time, you've got the mizbeach. If the entire mizbeach is in the darom, and it's going to be 27 amot, and this is going to be 14, the entrance, so only 5 of them will overlap the mizbeach, because the mizbeach is, the entire thing is in the south. So therefore, since the entire thing is in the south, you only have 5 amot right there to play with. But that's called petach oel, lifnei Hashem, right? Which is opposite. You've got a video there also?
This?
Yes, that one. Kulo b'dorom. Show everyone. Show it to everybody. בדיוק. Look, everyone, look at the video. You have it there. Right? Opposite. Remember, those two lines are opposite the Echal. So, יש לך מול ההיכל, יש לך את הפתח של ההיכל, לפני השם, יש לך את שתי lines. Now, you only have 5 amot then, if the entire thing is going to be in the Darom. If you're going to tell me that it wasn't the entire thing in the Darom, so you have the majority of the Mizbeach that you could use. Right? But if you're going to tell me right now that it's going to be Kulo LaDarom, you only have 5 amot.
We said 4. We said 4, so then we have to make it fit 4.
Yeah.
Do, 4.
Yeah. So you
Can't
said...
be that.
So how does it work then? So now he says, right? V'inami kasavar. Now, if you're going to tell me, now, by the way, you have the pictures now on the bottom in the art scroll there. You've got Tarshim Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav. Everyone sees it? Which one? The Mizbeach is 32 amot, but the Petach of the Ulam is 10 amot. Now, now 1 second. So he comes and he says like this. So what we have to understand is, right? How does it work exactly? You got the Ulam and then you got the Echal. The Echal is 10. The Ulam is 20. Okay? Now, when you're... Which one? No. But 22 is only the Mizbeach without the ramp. With the entire ramp is 32. Yeah?
It doesn't show.
We didn't get to 22 yet. We're going to get to 22.
Okay, we're going to get... 1 minute. You'll see it now. There's going to be a few things. 1 second. So now he comes and he says like this. Ve'inami kasavar. Now he's going to say, if you're going to tell me now, Kiddushat Echal ve'ulam is 1, meaning the Echal and the Ulam is all one Kiddusha. So then Mesim v'tarta ba'emete. So then you have to have it in 22. Right? Why? Because from the north, right, you're going to have 22 amot for the Seder Manacha Shniya, because since the Ulam is going to be 10 amot more than the Echal, right? So therefore you're going to have more. Remember, the Echal's entrance is 10 amot. The Ulam's entrance is 20 amot. You have it in the pictures there in the bottom. Okay? So you've got, it's double the size. Okay? Now, he comes and he says, so therefore, it should be 22 amot. So what's going on then? Right? How are you coming and telling me that it's only going to be 5 amot? What's going on exactly? How do we fix this exactly? So this is Tarshim Bet. Look in Tarshim Bet. In the number 2, in the pictures on the bottom. Okay? So he comes and he says, now, maybe you're going to tell me now, Chetzio b'tzafon v'chetzio b'darom. Maybe according to Shitat Rabbi Yosef, the Mizbeach is half-half. את מה? אני לא רואה. Yeah, if you're going to tell me now that the Mizbeach was half in the north and half in the south, Chadse b'elemete. So then it has to come that there's going to be 11 amot, right, from the corner of the southwest of the Yesod Mizbeach, right, and from there onwards, right, to Seder Manacha Shniya, which is going to be Keneged Petach HaEchal. So therefore, since the bottom is going to be 32 amot, half of it is going to be in the south, which is 16 amot, and Chetzi Petach HaEchal Keneged Adom is 5 amot, so therefore you're going to have 11, because it's 60 minus 5, so it's 11 amot. Ve'ela kasavar, but rather he holds, Kiddushat HaEchal ve'ulam chad amintai, it's the same thing. So then shit ba'elemete. So then only you have 6 amot then, right? So what's going on? Again, basically any number that you're getting does not make sense then, right? Because how is it working? This is going to be, by the way, number Dalit. Look in Dalit. And by the way, look at the Gimel. The Gimel was that you had Chetzi, right? Which means that the Mizbeach was half in the north and half in the south. Which one? In diagram C. Yes, Tarshim Gimel C. And now what we just mentioned was the D. Right? Diagram D. מה? לא הבנתי.
הלך סרטון של לחמאס, כאילו
זה בדיחות.
Okay. So that was diagram D. Yeah, everybody with me? Diagram D. El alav, but rather, Nishum de Kasavar, because he holds Kula Mizbeach Batzafon Kai. Maybe he is the one that holds that the entire Mizbeach is in the north. So you remember that was the video that I showed you at the beginning with Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yosef holds the entire thing is in the north. Remember? And Rabbi Yehuda was said that it was half, and then you had Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov that the entire thing is in the south. So he says because he holds really bad that the entire Mizbeach is going to be in the north. So there's only going to be the 5 amot of the south, which is going to be keneged chetzi asfoni shel petach ha'echal. Vehani arba amot. But now here you have 4 amot that he says you have to be right the 4 amot of the Mizbeach. So how could it work then? So he says, but rather ama yesod ve'ama sovev ve'ama shel makom akronot ve'ama makom ragle kohanim. He says each one is the different amot. You have the ama of the yesod. You have the ma of the sovev, you have the ma of the mekom akranot, and then you have the ma of the mekom ragle kohanim, and therefore you have 4 amot, right? Where there's it's not panui for the seder maracha at all. So therefore he comes and he says, so this 4 amot that Rabbi Yosef came and he said was needed, right? That it's not going to mean like this. If I'm going outside of the echal, right? I see you're not listening. One more time. I'm walking outside of the echal. What's the first thing that I hit? Which one? No. I went outside of the Echal. I'm in the Ulam. I go outside of the Ulam. What's the first thing that I hit?
Which way you want?
I'm walking straight.
Yeah.
The Mizbeach. Which part of the Mizbeach? What's the bottom part? What's the foundation? The Yisod. The Yisod. That's already 1 Amah. Correct? Okay, fine. If I would be able to continue walking, what do I hit now? Another Amah. What's that Amah? What's it called? No, before the Hiluch Ragli Kohanim. The Amah Sovev. Remember, when you're looking, I'm looking right now at the Mizbeach. What's the bottom part? The first part is a Yisod. There's another part. It's called the Amah Sovev. What is the Amah Sovev? When you go up again, you're going to have another Amah. And that Amah is where the Kohanim go around. You remember? They walk around on the Mizbeach.
So like a cube on a cube on a cube.
Exactly. It was a cube, right? Then you're going to continue, right? You have another Amah. What's the other Amah? The Kranot. No, the Kranot first. The Keren, the corners. That's already on the top. Right, the four cubicles or the corners. Then you have another amah. What is that amah? Where the kohanim walk around. So that means if I'm coming outside of the echal, I already have 4 amot of 4 amot until I actually get to where it is in the mizbeach. Because the first amah was the yisod, the second amah was the masovev, the third amah was the kranot, and the fourth amah was the yiluch of the kohanim. You understand where I'm going? I'm walking towards the Mizbeach. When I'm walking towards the Mizbeach, I'm going to hit something. What's the first thing that I hit? Amalama. It's the Yesod, the foundation. If I would be able to continue walking, what do I hit?
5. The other one is 5, no?
No, 5 is from the bottom upwards. It's 5.
Maybe something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah?
So height is 5, 1. Height is...
No. Sorry. You first have 1 on the bottom.
Okay.
Right? Then you go up 5.
So it goes like this. It goes up 1, 5,
1.
and then
3, 1.
So the distance between this one and this one is what you're saying.
Exactly. So you've got 1 amah for the Yesod, 1 amah for the amah sovev, right? 1 amah for the kranot, and then by the time you're at the top, you still have another amah where the kohanim walk around. So 4 amot you just used of the mizbeach just for what? Just to get to the mizbeach. You didn't even start anything. You didn't even get anywhere. Like you forget about even offering or the. You already wasted, right? Wasted, whatever. You already used 4 amot.
Out of the 32? Is that what?
No. Not of the 32. Out of the 5, we were talking about the 4 or 5 amot. That's for when you're getting from the going inside. Not the 32. 32 is from up here to down here, point A to point B. How big is the mizbeach? That's 32. Okay. So he says. So one more time. He says he holds that the entire Mizbeach is going to be in the Tzafon. So now he said that there's going to be 4 amot that you have to be marchik maracha from the darom of the Mizbeach. He says it's only just so that it should be neged the betach. So he says, but rather you're going to have 1 amah of the Yisod, 1 amah of the Sovev, 1 amah of the Kranot, and 1 amah of the Makom Karnei Ha Raragle Kohanim. Right? So therefore you've got 4 amot, right? So there's no place where to put the manacha, because these 4 amot that Rabbi Yosef actually came and he said is that they cannot come, and this is where you're getting to. So therefore he says, misagu lekame tefach, because if you're going to go a little bit more tefach, right, to lekapetach, so then you're not in the entrance of the echal anymore. So he says, right, and that was going to be diagram what? That was going to be, look at the diagram, There it is. Look at the diagram 6. Everybody sees it on the bottom? It's F? Okay, fine. F. So the last one on the page. What does it say? The bottom one is a yesod, and then it's got an arrow, and it takes you to the yesod, which is going to be one amma. The second one is a sovev, which is the second arrow. The next one is a keren, the horns. Then the makom yiluch hakohanim, and then maracha shniya. So the maracha shniya, each one is like going upwards. So if each one is going upwards, right, by the time you get to the maracha shniya, you're not anymore petach haohel anymore. You're not by the petach of the echal. Look at the petach of the echal over there. Everyone sees the petach of the echal, not the ulam. So therefore, it's not there anymore because you already went upwards. You missed the entire place where you're allowed to do the maracha. So Amar Ravada Barava says Ravada Barava, Hamani, who is this then? It's a Yehuda here. It has to be a Yehuda. The time was we learned in a bright that Rabbi Yehuda says Mizbeach is memutza. You remember the first video that I showed you guys? The Rabbi Yosef holds that the entire Mizbeach was in the north. Rabbi Yehuda holds that it's chetzi, half in the north, half in the south. And Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov holds that the entire thing was in the south. So here he says this is obviously going like with Shita, like Rabbi, right? Yehuda. Why? He says it's going to be the middle. And it had 32 amot. 10 amot כנגד פתחו של ההיכל. 10 amot opposite the entrance of the היכל. 11 מכאן, which is going to be 11 amot from here, ו11 מכאן, נמצא, so it comes out, that you have the mizbeach מכוון. So the mizbeach is exactly in the center of the ulam. Look in the picture now. What number is that? That's what, the G? G. So look in G. You have the echal. Remember, the echal is going to be 2 doors of 5, which makes it 10. Then you have the ulam. The ulam is 20. Remember that. Now, straight in front of the echal, mamash straight, mamash centered, you have the mizbeach. Right? So therefore you've got, so he comes and he says, you've got the 10 in the center, and then you've got 11 and 11. Correct? Now you understood how you got 11 and 11, but that's the 32.
Here it shows 26 and 6.
No, it's 26 and 6.
No, but that's of the echal. That's of the echal.
Where's the 11 and 11?
Outside. You don't have the 11 and 11?
6. There's no 11 anywhere here. You have 10 and 22, 16 and 11.
They made a mistake on that picture. That's so funny. So look at my picture. Show it around. Take it around and show my picture. The 20 and the 6 and the 6 is of the echal. But then continue going. You have the 10, which is opposite the echal's doors, and then you have 11, 11, which makes up 32. Show it to them. Which one? No, show them the picture. They made the mistake of the 20 and the 6 and 6. They made a mistake there. They put it in the wrong place. Look where it says in my picture there, where's the 20 and the 6 and the 6. The 20 is inside the echal. Yeah, you understand? The 20 is inside of the echal, and then you have 6 and 6 on the walls of the echal. But that's inside the echal. When we're talking about the mizbeach is 32. So you understand, meaning that they made a mistake in your picture there. That's why I didn't understand what you guys were telling me about 26 and 6. I said that's backwards. It's not forwards. You have to be going forwards.
But 1 second. But 6 and 6 over in the echal.
No, but that's outside. That's nothing to do with us right now.
No,
right?
I'm saying the only difference becomes is the 10.
You're right. I don't need the 26. I don't even know why they brought the 26 and 6 over there. I have no idea why. I don't even need that. Right now, I have to know. The entrance of the echal is 10. I go directly straight to the mizbeach. I've got my bullseye. I've got 10. Now, if I've got 10 and I'm in the middle, so that means I've got now 11 and 11 to get to 32. So those are on the sides. You understand? Those are on the 2 sides. So I have everything there then. Okay? So it says the Gemara. Yeah? ו-32 אמות היו לו, 10 אמות כנגד פתחו של היכל, 11 מכאן ו11 מכאן, 11 here and 11 there, נמצא, so it comes out, right? מזבח מכוון כנגד ההיכל. The מזבח is exactly in front of the היכל. So says the Gemara, yeah, but סוף סוף, לרבי יהודה 11 בא למטה. He says you still have to have 11 on the north, right? And he says to the Seder HaMalacha, in order that it should still be mul petach haoel. But if according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's going to be chetzi mizbeach, which is going to be 16 amot, right? Is going to be in the south. So therefore, you only have keneged petach ha'echal, right? You're not going to have it either. Why? If you're going to tell me now that the kiddushat of the echal and the ulam is one thing, So then sheet by lemete. So then you still need another 6 amot on the from the north of the southern part of the mizbeach, right? In order to come to have it, right? Look at now number 4 again. This is the D above. They don't have it? No, the 11.
5.
Interesting. Okay. So answers the Gemara, Misavrat Hane Arba Amot Behade, right? Ama Yesod V'Ama Sovev. Arba Amot is Bar Me Ama Yesod V'Ama Sovev. Meaning like this. We beforehand, what do? We went and we took 1 Ama for the Yesod, then 1 Ama for the Ama Sovev, then 1 Ama for the Kranot, and we kept on adding it up. So then by the time you came up to it, it was already outside. That's what we said, because basically it was already too high. So it's not connected to Petach Chaychal. He comes and he says here, these 4 amot that the Mishnah was mentioning, right, was not together. He says the kavanah was 4 amot except for the Ama Yesod and the Masovev. Meaning the Mishnah is teaching you that you have to be marchik the manacha, right, of the darom of the mizbeach, and not from the Yesod, only from the mizbeach. So it means when we said that you have to distance it, meaning like this, where are you putting, right, the manacha? The manacha is where you're putting the wood. Right? Remember, I showed you the picture at the beginning of the shiur. On top of the mizbeach, you had the tapuach, which is in the middle, and then you had the esh tamid on the top left, and then on the bottom right, you had the maracha gdula, maracha shniya ketoret, right? The small one, right? So you had the big maracha, big fire, a bonfire, and a small one. So we were talking about how do you have to distance that one, right, from the bottom of the mizbeach. We were not including the ama yesod and the masovev. So he says v'nokma k'Rabbi Yoseh u'b'memutza. So he says, 1 second. So why don't we just say then that our Mishnah is going according to Rabbi Yoseh?
So then it fits, right, Rabbi? So
Yes, then it fits.
4 amot, 6, 2 and
It-
1 and 1.
exactly.
2 plus 6 exactly fits exactly.
Exactly. Why? Because I'm not
Hold on.
counting those two. Because basically, we thought beforehand that I needed to count those two, and then it's going to be further up. I'm not counting those two.
32 counted
Right?
too.
Exactly. He's counting that. So then I don't need that. So he says, Mishum de Rabbi Yehuda shemana le memutza behedya. He says, no, the reason why we didn't want to make it like Rabbi Yoseh is because we heard that Rabbi Yehuda says mefurash, that the Mizbeach is smack in the middle. So that's why we never said that it was going to be like Rabbi Yoseh. Okay? Rav Shravya Amar. Rav Shravya says, Hamani, who is this? Rabbi Yoseh Galilehi. It's actually going to be Rabbi Yoseh Galileh. The Tanya was learned in a right. Rabbi Yoseh Galileh says, Mitoch shenemar v'natatata kior ben olam moed vegomer. Since you're going to place the kior between the olam moed and mizbeach, ve'et mizbach haolah, right? And the mizbach haolah bepetach ol moed, right? It says mizbeach bepetach ol moed velo, right? Kior bepetach ol moed. Meaning the mizbeach has to be by the entrance of the ol moed, but not the what? But not the kior. Right? So so where was the kior then? So he says, Ben ha'ulam lamizbeach, mashuch kim'a klape darom. Right? Between the ulam and the mizbeach, but it was a little bit towards the south. So that's the picture there. I think it's picture number 4. Let me just check over here. No, sorry, picture number 1. Picture number 1. Yeah, Tashima Aleph. Picture number 1. You see it there? You have the oil moed, you have the mizbeach, and then the kior was a little bit to the south of that. Okay? Until here we're clear?